call our regularly scheduled meeting of October the 7th, 2024 to order with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item of business, approval of the minutes from the regularly scheduled meeting of September the 16th, 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the regular meeting on September 16th, 2024.
I'll second that motion.
Got a motion from Randy, a second from Jerry. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Next up is our approval of minutes from our special meeting of the commissioners on September the 24th of 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve
I'll second.
of the minutes from special meetings. Okay, you second.
I'll second the motion. Got a motion from Randy, a second from Jamie. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Approval of claims.
I'll make a motion to approve claims as presented.
You made a motion, Jerry?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll second that motion.
Got a motion from Jerry, a second from Randy. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Highway Superintendent, Andy, Dusty. Dusty.
Truck 18 and truck 6 at Mainland Diesel for repairs. There's still no word on the repairs yet. Crews have been moving fallen trees back away from the edges of the roadway from hurricane storm damage. We're still mowing roadsides. We got our chip and seal projects finished on Wade Hill, McCurry's Ridge, and Wolf Road. All the chip and seal equipment is cleaned up and stored for winter. Crews dug out some soft spots on Lewis Drive and filled back in with gravel. Hooper Lane, I'm still checking on this, so I have found out that it does not go all the way through the back like the plat map showed. But I talked to one homeowner and I need to talk to the other two to see if we got a place we can put a concrete in. Yeah. Crew's been covering gravel roads with rock. And I talked to the guy in the back of Sand Ridge Road. They've had a gate up back there and it's been a problem over the past 5 or 6 years. They keep putting it up and we can't maintain it until they want it fixed, and then they call to maintain it. It has a new owner now. I've talked to him, and he's gonna take the gate down, so hopefully we can maintain it as normal. And then the only other thing I got is, blacktop is open up. Oh, and I do have a thing from Harvey at FPGA, we can look at that.
These are your blacktop bids?
Yep.
We don't have the bid sheets, but.
Or to write it down.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I did.
Well, it's all right. Just the one looking one.
Yeah, no, I forgot to put it in or burn it.
Clean up this weekend, correct?
Yes.
Need to make a reminder about fall cleanup is this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Dumpsters will be out at the county highway garage on the Ridge Ridge.
That's this weekend?
Yes, sir.
This weekend. All cleanup at Highway Department this weekend.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
8 to 6.
Yeah.
Pete, that's on the website, isn't it?
On Facebook.
Okay, on Facebook. Thank you. I wasn't sure I hadn't checked.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I'll reshare it again, just to bring it back up in people's feeds.
First bid is from All Star Paving. Would have saved me from looking, Dusty, you know, off the top of your head,
At the very bottom of this Excel list there, it should have a total,
total mileage.
yeah. Total project total. Yeah, there's the big ones. So look at the
Right.
last box.
That's the dollars, but not the miles. I was just curious what the
Oh,
total
no, I
miles
don't
were.
have I don't have a slot for total mileage.
Okay. You know off the top of your head what it was?
10 miles.
No, it's
I
less than
think
that.
it was six and a half, somewhere right in there.
Approximately 6.5.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first bid is from All Star Paving for approximately 6.5 center line miles in the amount of $732,122. Make sure that's the second back there, I think it was. Second quote is from Paul H. Road Company.
From who?
Paul Road. In the amount of $950,180. Well, what I'm trying to get this in there, does this include striping or,
No, it doesn't.
no, just paving,
Yeah, paving.
no burning?
Nope, no burning. Wouldn't do that at all.
Paving approaches at everybody's driveway?
Should have that in there.
Third quote is for Dave, from Dave O'Mara. In the amount of $743,200.
So,
Yeah.
Was all or any of these companies willing to make sure we're gonna get this done this year, I'm going to assume?
Yeah, I told him we were trying to get it done this year.
It might be hard for All-Star to get it done this year because of we do have that route, their route closed, they're coming from the south, so. That being
So
said.
that we closed,
Huh?
it is closed.
56
around.
will close for the next 45 days and you run out of rubber.
$732,950,
But
$743.
I'll let you guys decide that on, if you wanna work it
Yeah.
tonight or postpone it until you find that out.
Did All-Star mention any issues with getting it done this year?
No, I told him that we was wanting it to be done this year, and it goes $7 million, so.
You know, but if they knew the road closure was gonna be there or not, I don't know.
So, I mean, if you wanna postpone till we,
We've already read through it.
well, I mean,
Well,
not to re-quote, but to see if they can actually do it.
Just to get.
I mean, I guess we can always reward it with a contingency.
Yeah.
That'll be done next 30 days or the next 45 days
Yeah, this year.
this year.
I mean, which I'm gonna assume they're gonna, obviously weather determines how
Yeah.
soon they quit making asphalt. but-
Yeah.
Entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion then to award this contract to All-Star Paving in the amount of $732,122 on the condition that the project is completed by end of the year.
I'll second that motion.
Got a motion by Randy, a second by Jerry to award the 2024 paving contract to All-Star Paving, contingent upon, confirming that it will be done this year in the amount of $732,122. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
And that is the company, ARPA funds. And we have-
That's from ARPA.
ARPA funds, okay.
Other thing I got is from Barney. This paragraph here breaks down what you want me to check into about for closing out community crossings, for doing inspections, for the price breakdowns on all that. And he said you can circle what you want done, or if you want to do it.
We've never done it in the past that I'm aware of. So this is just
So
the inspections of that bridge,
Yeah.
of Bridge 13, which is, was it awarded to McAllister or have we?
Yeah, Council's excavated. But they done got one in Bennett Ford, they got the filings all drove. But he broke it out for us, so if you wanna pay for.
It's basically
inspections-
$5,000, so we got $1,540, so $5,040 total.
Yeah, or if you just wanna pay for the finish up on community crossings, and pay that, or if you wanna pay that and, make sure the payments get paid from community crossings, which we can do that, I mean. You can pick out three, what you want, or what you want, and
So the inspections are 3,500, CCMG
payment.
is 960, and the closure payments are 960, the closure documents are 480.
Yeah.
I'd make a motion to approve FPBH, for the assistance with the payment approvals for CCMG, which is community crossings, and closure documents, in the amount of $1,440.
I'll second that motion.
Got a motion from Jamie, a second from Randy to approve FPBH in the amount of $1,440 for assistance in completing, the community crossings documentation for Bridge 13. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. So this should be the only time we have to do that. We paid him $3,000, I believe it was, to assist with it initially, correct? Or was that
Well,
not Bridge
that's for-
13? Okay,
That's for-
so that's
Yeah, we paid.
64 or something.
Well, that's for next year's, blacktop for community crossing.
Okay. So,
We done paid him engineering on that bridge.
right,
Yeah. And that's about the only one we paid.
but I guess ultimately, for a complete walkthrough, if you will, of community crossing, which would be the start of the asphalt one and the completion of this one, which, Jenny?
Yeah,
Jenny?
Yeah.
They're also training Jenny to do the community crossings grants, for that amount, so it's basically costs us $4,440, for that training,
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
So she should be able to take over after they've walked her through, went through the process with her on these two projects, and then we'll go back to doing them in-house, ourselves.
And I've learned some of it, so I can help her on some of it.
I don't know whether it's required or not, or should say something or not, but we did have an accident today.
Yep.
County Highway, had one of our workers basically smashed off, I guess you'd call it, the very end of their thumb. So keep that person in your thoughts anyway. I don't think it's life threatening or anything like that, but I'm sure it's definitely painful and something that he's gonna have to deal with for a little while.
Yeah. He's in Louisville now, getting surgery, so hopefully everything's good.
Anything else, Dusty?
That's all I got.
Under new business, first up, John Canova.
I attended the VB Town Council meeting last week, told them about 22 disabled vehicles that I complained about since February 7th. Let's see, as of Saturday, there's now 34 abandoned vehicles on only one side of town. They promised me they were gonna do 0 about it this year on this ongoing problem. Let's see, also the council did something, a positive note, unsafe building code meeting, which after the regular meeting, they fined 2 different property owners $1,000 each, told them to clean up their property. Patriots' new enforcement officers expected to start work October 2nd and work 3 days a week. Park News, as of Saturday, there's now, no, that was Saturday, Monday. All well at Markland Park, Signorama has taken many months to not deliver the new sign for tourism. If you're ever in a hurry, don't work with Signorama, because it's over 6 months and they still haven't delivered for the tourism sign that's going at Markland Park. Boaters are still using Bryant's Creek, and I spent 20 minutes trimming the overgrown flower garden at Patriot that my volunteers didn't trim. And that's it.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, sir.
Up next, Tony Ryder, Town of Patriot.
Yeah, see if you guys could do us maybe not a favor, but, we have a road that's got some cracks in the foxtail. I'll show you what it is. I didn't know, since he said you didn't think everything got put up for the winter, if you could be possibly, I don't know what you guys call that thing, sprays on, and puts the chip down.
Chip and seal.
Yeah.
Patching machine.
Yeah. Town be willing to pay for the labor cost, material cost, and run the equipment itself. We're not asking to do it for nothing, we're just asking if you do it for us.
So this is the only section here?
Yeah, it's going up Foxdale. If you go up around the bend, I don't know if your Patty Sand lives or not, but like if you get your house. We had that redone 2 years ago, and it started to crack off. And what we're afraid of this winter, that water get down in there and make it get worse. Yeah.
Yeah, that would actually be for the pothole machine, it still runs on a regular basis.
Right.
But the big machine was already put in.
Right.
Yeah, it looks to me like you should probably, and you tell me if I'm wrong, but to your point, patch all that with a pothole machine, and then maybe next spring,
Now, we didn't want to.
chip and seal the whole thing.
Well, we didn't want to have, get a paver come in just for a little spot, because it would cost a fortune.
Mhm.
So we hope maybe next year when we get community crossing roads, we have them fix that again at that time.
Yeah.
But we didn't want to try to make it, at least keep it for Mr. and Miss Cooney and Patty Shan, the ones that live up there.
Something we can do, you say?
Yeah, I mean, we run pothole machine. If that's what you want.
You wanna see it?
I'm sorry?
Did you see it?
I said, I saw, yeah.
Yeah, that pothole machine, it pretty much runs, even into the winters
Right.
on above 13.
It looks like a slip right there.
Yeah, it's a slip, that's what it's done. Like I said, we had it fixed a couple of years ago, and it's doing it again. If we don't do something with that, the crack right now, I'm afraid it's gonna be a lot
Yeah,
worse
that's
than what.
gonna take on some water.
Right.
So. Won't be protocol, I mean,
Yeah,
Dusty
probably
would figure out something to charge you on.
Yeah, Dusty just have figured,
Yeah,
Figure out the cost.
that's what they did first, though, we had.
I mean, he
Or
could
we dug it all out.
just do it and then say this is how much it costs. I mean,
I mean, as long as it's fair cost, fair charge.
Materials and man-hours.
Yeah, again, just figure stuff what it costs, and we'll, reimburse the county for what it would cost the material stuff.
I have no issues.
I doubt that.
What's the street or road? did you say?
Foxtail.
Foxtail.
It's actually the first street when you come in, places can see.
Foxtail Lane.
Yeah.
We actually helped them out a couple of years ago with, we paid, the county went up and trimmed the trees so that they could with their blacktop and stuff.
Yeah, they mowed it, yeah. If you decide to do this, we just let them ahead, how we have our guys help block the road and keep traffic off of it and stuff. Just let us know. Thanks.
Yes,
I'll entertain a motion if you guys wanna go ahead and make a motion.
Well, make a motion for Dusty to go ahead and look into it and.
Well, we can approve whether or not we can do it, we'll do it or not. Then Dusty can get him the pricing, and then he can decide based on the pricing whether he wants to do it. Or we can just do it and then tell you how many hours and stuff it was, however you prefer, I don't care.
Yeah, I think we just, Dusty just basically charge for man-hours and equipment.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, you'll have, I mean, if you wanna break it down that far, we do have.
Man-hours and.
I just wanna make sure, you guys heard us, we're fair to you, we don't wanna.
Sure.
Right.
I mean, man hours, oil, and rock, and then you do what I would do.
Right.
It's not gonna be.
It's not gonna be major from what fixing those handful of crack lines and stuff, but I don't think.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve county highway to, repair Foxtail Lane for the town of Patriot. And we will bill them for man-hours and materials.
I'll second that motion.
We got a motion from Jerry, a second from Randy, to approve the county highway department, patching Foxtail Lane in the town of Patriot. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Thanks.
I'll get you some prices.
Okay, thank you.
Tim Shackelford.
Hi.
How you doing?
Pretty well, thank you. Back in '93, I own Dandy River County. Back in '93, my neighbor sold her property to me. I'm sorry, back in '93, the county council, the commissioner vacated a part of the road that ran down to her, that provided deep ingress and egress to her property. It sits across from another piece of property. If you're familiar with Bennett Road, it's a Stubby Wood Road that runs down to the river, what I'm talking about. Everything was fine for 40 years. I bought the property from her, by the way, in '95. The county had the commissioner vacated that road back in '93 by ordinance. Everything was fine for 40 years or so. A new neighbor moved in and they built a fence up against my line and blocked egress through that property. You can't get out to a public highway anymore like that because their fence blocks that. My question is, who enforces ordinances? If that road was decommissioned, or vacated by ordinance, and by statute, generally people have it, but that property, but that vacated road, share the road.
Right.
But it's impossible now to share the road because of the existence of that fence.
Have you looked at the ordinance that they approved when they
No, I
vacated
can't find
it?
it, no one can find it. I have a copy.
It's gotta be
Hold
in
on,
the commissioners meeting minutes.
Well, I
or-
would think so, but This is the ordinance that was written, it was in my deed when I got the property. And it says that a portion of Broadway Street, years ago, Broadway Street is designated on the plat of the town of Martland, Indiana, which extends in southerly direction from the center section of the petitioner's real estate, which is a property at lot. Being 17 feet south of the northeast corner of lot number 18, as designated on the plat of the town of Martland, Indiana. And it was passed, and it was to follow the statute.
Have you talked to Mark Archer?
The building, the building?
Building,
Code?
Surveyor. Brian McAllister?
No, he did,
I just wrote down.
he did a survey, a line survey for the property across the road from mine. And he brought the line right up to my property line. Even if it is, that line was abutting the road. Since it abutted the road, I have a right to use that road. I can't use the road because the fence is there. And that's what I'm saying.
Right. I think we're gonna have to get an opinion from Brian, and he should be able to go back and look up the, vacation of that road, vacating of that road, and see how it was worded, because it, even, I would think that the prior property owner, number one, they would have had the opportunity to challenge the, it being vacated.
But they were the one who
Petition for it.
right. And and I know where you're going, it makes no sense. Why would somebody decide to landlock themselves?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't
See,
answer that.
exactly, it makes no sense. And I don't believe that was their intention.
Right.
I believe the intention was to share the road, maintain the road, it's the done common, it's a common practice.
Right.
Share the road, split it in the middle, boom, happening, and we don't quarrel. You know, if it needs to be fixed, we fix it. And by the way, that was the way it was for 40 years, and probably longer. And the new person, they don't have. You know, they just, I have no idea what the motivation is. But all I know is there's a fence there, and now the people that are in that house have no way of getting through the road without driving across the wall. And driving across another piece of private property that does not belong to them.
If you don't mind getting with Brian McAllister, if he can't help you and get you a resolution, then I'll talk to him as well and see what we as commissioners potentially can do, because I can't tell you if there's anything we can do. I just don't know the answer. I don't know what the,
Yeah, I guess
answer for
essentially, I'm
you
asking
is.
who enforces your ordinances?
Well, part of the ordinances obviously are enforced by the commissioners, et cetera. It just depends on what type of ordinance it is.
I'm not trying to give you a hard time, I don't know either.
No.
You know, I don't know
Right.
either.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the sheriff's responsible for enforcement of some certain ordinances. The planning and zoning is responsible, or building inspector is responsible for some. So it's not one size or one person responsible for all,
Understand.
currently anyway.
Well, if you can talk to those folks, and I'll give you my telephone number, contact me, whatever you have to do to try and find the resolution. The people that live in the house that's blocked now, the lady's elderly, she's my age, 76. She's elderly, and she's in a wheelchair with one leg. What happens if there's a rain? What happens if there's snow on the ground?
Yeah, I think those are very legitimate concerns and
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can
I'm just
help you
trying-
get an
I
answer.
help this
anyway.
lady out and resolve the conflict, okay?
All right, thanks.
Thanks much.
Thank you, sir.
Doug Foster, SCEO.
Evening, gentlemen. I'm Doug Foster with Great Plains Communications, formerly ETC. We've been your phone and internet provider for over 6 years now. When we first came to town, we kind of stopped our fiber build right at the edge of downtown area. We've now approved going east down, State Road 56, I guess that is, to get the businesses down on that end of town and some residentials along the way. So we've got, you know, the IGAs down there and Farm Bureau Insurance, a couple other businesses. So the emergency response building is in that as well. That's the reason why we've never had their service, because we've never taken our fiber down that far. But we've approved doing it, and I don't know, Gail, did they ever get a copy of
I
the
sent that
quote?
to you
or-
guys a couple weeks ago, the quote for that.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a copy of it right
Yeah, I don't,
here.
I don't remember.
I only have one copy, sorry.
They can-
But yeah, this is the, proposal for the phone. They have two phone lines, the regular line and the fax. They have an internet service and a TV.
All the other
service.
county buildings, well, within VB, we already utilize you, correct?
Yes, yeah, we're,
'Cause you put the, whatever, out here, right?
the fiber, yeah. We have this building, we have the courthouse, we have the highway department, we have the health department. I think this is probably the last building that we don't have service in. And it is fiber optic and it's free installation with the 36-month term.
Do you by chance give know what we currently pay and to who?
They pay, Spectrum right now, it's around $300 a month. But that has, some of that is like with, cable.
That looks cheaper.
Mhm.
And probably a little bit more stable.
Well,
It's a lot better
the
than-
reliability, I think, is our biggest selling point at this time, because I know Spectrum has struggled with, keeping their services
Yes, I've heard.
up and running, and when they go down, it's not just for an hour or two, it's
It's
for a whole day,
24,
so.
48 hours long.
So, yeah, that's the, I think that's our strongest selling point, even with the savings, is the fact that our fiber is pretty reliable and stable.
I haven't gotten any requests from Emily, but he came in the same day that he was gonna do a bid for her, and I asked him to send that to me, and then I forwarded it on to you guys.
All right, entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve Great Plains to, add the services for internet and phone service, fiber, the EMR building in the amount of $284.15 per month.
I'll second that motion.
Got a motion from Jerry, a second from Randy to approve Great Plains Communications for internet and phone service for SCER in the amount of $284.15 a month. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. We need to, how soon would this come on board?
We're still probably about 6 to 8 weeks out.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's a little bit of construction to be done on our end. Then once we get the fiber built all the way down there, I'm hoping by the end of November, then we'll be able to start turning services out.
I just gotta make sure that we don't forget to turn off Spectrum.
Yeah. Well, when we do the port for the phone numbers, that essentially cancels the phone service, but another call is needed to get the internet and TV stuff turned on. So, yeah, 3 days here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. So, the other two forms that need signed are, one is the port, request that we would send to Spectrum to get those phone numbers. And then the last one is we have to disclose a long distance provider. The last form, is the one that, makes us your long distance provider as well. But all the signatures required are in yellow.
Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thanks, Doug. Next up is employee benefits, and I had asked Pete to have this put on the agenda. Specifically, if everybody remembers correctly, our fitness center benefit, if you will, or YMCA benefit for county employees expired at the end of September. We didn't enter into any new contracts with the YMCA, so I think we need to have a discussion on what we want to do, if anything. I know I've got a thought or a proposal that's consistent with what I've said in at least 2 other commissioner meetings in the past. I think that we still need to offer some type of fitness plan or facility plan to the employees. But I don't know that it necessarily needs to be limited to just the Switzerland County YMCA in my opinion. With that said, I'll just go ahead and tell you what my thoughts are. Currently, collectively, the county paid the YMCA approximately $100,000 a year, $85,000 in casino revenue and $15,000 for the employee contract from the commissioner. I would like to see us provide a stipend to the county employees where they could join the fitness center or facility of their choice, and the county would reimburse them up to $500 a year for that membership. Is $500 the right number? I don't know. That's just a number that I've got in my head. We've got approximately 150 county employees. If all of them chose I'm gonna assume a family plan at most facilities, would be over the, or I know at Y it's over the $500. I don't know about other facilities. But if everyone chose a facility that took the full $50 or $500, then that's approximately $75,000 a year, or $25,000 less than what we have historically given to the YMCA. I'll open it up, Randy, for you and Jerry, if you've got any thoughts.
I think that's a good thing. It just gives the employees and their families a choice on what to do. $500 is pretty good. I mean, family plan, I think the YMCA is what,
I think she told us 7:30 or something.
I don't know
like
what,
that.
like the place at Markland, I don't have any idea what that is, you know, but I think this is a fair and good plan. I mean, I don't know how many people, employees will utilize it, you know, based off what we saw a couple of months ago. I mean,
There was about a 10%
10% usage.
utilization rate at the YMCA.
I mean, but no, I think that's a very fair thing. It gives them a choice what to do. Dusty, you're employed, what do you think? So, you probably get a lot of work out on the road anyway, so, you know.
Jared, do you have any thoughts?
Oh,
No.
You
No,
got
I-
me signed up to get the money?
yeah.
You'll be reimbursed, so once you
Reimbursed.
join that fitness center, you bring your receipt in, and then the county will reimburse you for that membership.
Paid monthly? Can
What's
it
that?
be paid monthly up to $500? Because most people are gonna have it taken out of check or pay.
I would,
And or-
for the sake of making it easier for your office, I'd prefer that it just be a annual membership and you had to pay it one time, but that's, you know, if you're fine with doing it monthly, then we can make that an option. I have no problem with
It's
it.
like if someone, it was the end of September for what the county offered, so let's say they signed up and they have 3 months that they can do on their own, so they can get that 3 months reimbursed this year, or?
I see no reason why not.
I'm just asking, because
I mean,
that's the question.
The reason that,
Yeah, I
the
think-
reason, I'd like to put this out there too, because the reason that this fell the way it did is when Eric left, there was some transition period before Lindsay took over and understood what was happening. So when she came to us, for 23's monies. She hadn't been paid, it was almost the end of the year, or was the end of the year. And she asked us, will you pay me the 15,000 for the memberships for 23? And I'll work on getting you some numbers for 24. So, and I would like to get back to you in September.
She prorated it.
So she said, pay me 11,000. So we agreed to pay the full 15,000 for 23 and 11,000 for 24 up to September. September is here, so those think that we didn't renew it because it was us. She has not come back and spoke to us and said, hey, due to the usage not being 50% or whatever, instead of 15,000 a year, let's say 11,000 a year for the memberships. She hasn't come back and talked to us, so.
Well, she made it clear when she did come back that 11,000 was no longer on the table.
Yes.
Or 15,000.
Because I think I heard, maybe I'm wrong, but I heard the other day that it was now $800 for a family membership. It's been raised. I don't know.
Well, I think they've raised their rates somehow. I won't
So the
swear to it,
730
but I
is
think I've
now
heard
almost
some.
800 now, but so, but back to what you're saying, I mean, I just want to clear that up because she said she would be back in September to discuss it with us and we've not seen her. So, you know, I think your idea is not a bad idea, and I think that, you know, it is a benefit we need to try to continue for as long as we can feasibly do it for the employees, and if it helps keep them healthier, then that obviously goes towards the health and wellness of our insurance policies as well, so I would be in agreement with you.
You know, it's 800, I have no issue going up to 600. You know, maybe it's a little steep, but,
Just
you know.
make it set amount a month, up to this amount.
Well, and
I would,
concerned
yeah,
to me
reimburse up to
is
600
how
a month, or
we get
600.
those people that sign
I don't know.
up, get their $500 and then don't go.
Well, they've already paid it, so they're out, I assume.
Well, we're out.
Well, they've gotta pay for it
Yeah, you
and
can't make
present
it.
their receipt before we'll reimburse them.
Yeah.
That's why the monthly,
I think the monthly thing is,
Well, I mean,
because I'm going from,
if you get a
My
monthly
own.
benefit like that, to get reimbursed, take it out every, you know, paycheck,
Mhm.
you almost have to have like a contract with them or something.
you
right?
know,
I mean,
yeah.
a
And if
sign.
you don't bring in that receipt that you paid that month, then you don't get reimbursed.
I mean, I'd rather, if I paid $600 for it right, you know, today, I'd rather be reimbursed immediately.
And then tomorrow you can go cancel it, and I've already given you $600.
Well, let's hope they don't do that, yeah.
You'd be surprised, Andy. I mean.
I'll
I
open it
would
up to the
say-
floor.
Might as well go on me, I won't have my arm up all night. So is the 500 for a single membership, or is that, it's just gonna be the?
It is for that
or
employee.
family, or whatever
Up
they
to-
wanna do with it?
whatever they wanna do with it.
Okay.
Mhm.
I would,
Tony's got a question.
yeah.
Not really a question. When you speak of benefit, and you say you got 150 employees, so if this doesn't benefit the whole 150 employees, it's not a benefit. You're only
Well,
paying.
benefits them if they choose
No,
to
no, no.
utilize
Yeah,
it.
but see, when you say benefit, if Dusty uses it and I don't, Dusty gonna get a $500 thing, I'm getting nothing. Okay? So when you do a benefit, it's gotta be across the board. It can't be a benefit for.
Does every employee participate in the health benefit program?
I hope so.
It's no
Well, I mean,
different.
I don't take the health insurance here myself, all right, so I mean, that's one benefit I don't take.
different, but when you're doing a benefit for a.
It's a benefit. If you choose not to take advantage of it, that's on you, the way I see it, so.
No,
I
I
can't look
see,
at it that
I kinda
way.
see what he's saying, but yeah.
Because I would be
benefits,
sore,
whether you choose to
I'd rather
do
give
something
them
or
a
not.
clothing benefit, give them a
It's up to you.
$500 clothing benefit for all the
It's
employees.
still a
benefit.
benefit, it's still a benefit, I agree, but it's still a benefit. I
It's
see
not,
what
it's not
you're
100%
saying with
benefit.
that.
When you give a benefit, it should be able for everybody. It's a benefit.
It
It's
is
not-
available to everybody.
No, only if you use it. Only if you come down here.
We can't force people to use
A lot of
it.
people ain't gonna drive, the other end of this county always beat you to go to YMCA.
But they can also go to another.
go to another
They can go to
facility.
another.
This is the
I
first
feel-
time.
They
That's
can
just
go
my
up to-
opinion, you guys do what you
No,
want,
no.
my opinion is when you do a benefit, it should be something that everybody would want to do. I mean,
I
I've
don't
never
think,
seen, like
I
you
don't
said,
think, Tony, I don't think
totally
there's anything that we can predict that everybody wants to do. I mean, people are just different.
I think if
So,
you done a clothing
I
benefit,
think it's a
I
lot
guarantee
better
everybody
than
would
the-
take the $500 for your clothing benefit.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't?
We're gonna wrap this up, but,
But
but,
I would do a set amount per month, and that they're eligible, if you come in with your yearly and you paid it annually, then you're gonna get your full amount reimbursed that month, or whenever you paid it. I'm just saying that some people can't pay that full
And that's true, there's some,
5, 6,
no.
whatever the full year may be.
it would cost them a lot more for an annual, if they pay it monthly than if they do get an
Not
annual
necessarily.
membership.
If that's all they can afford, then that's all they can afford. You know, I'm just
Yeah.
looking out for the people that
No,
live
I
in
Yeah,
these
if
paychecks
that costs
that
somebody
want.
$750 for the year, and they can only afford to go for 4 months, whatever.
No, I'm just saying if they break it down to a monthly bill instead of a
Yeah, that's-
$750
Yeah, I
one
agree
time.
with you. That way, if they can't afford
You
to
know.
go the whole year, then they can go to a run out Monday
They can,
monthly.
cause some people can afford to pay $35 a month out of their check, or out of their monthly budgeted income.
No good deed goes unpunished, I guess.
No, I'm just saying, I'm the one that would have to have it reimbursed, I'm just saying, set an amount. It, you know, they can go to the Y, they can go down here by
Your thoughts,
Belvedere.
Randy, Jerry?
I would say let's bump it up to 600. I honestly don't,
Up
I
to
don't
600.
see that many employees using it. I just don't see it. I don't see that many people that will take advantage of it.
150 times 600,
600 is
A lot of money.
90,000.
90,000. We pay 100,000.
100.
And I think we'll have, if we're a little lucky, and it may surprise us.
Here's the problem I've got with the monthly, and I see what you're saying, but so some facilities, if you go to it, you're probably gonna get a much better, a cheaper annual rate if I pay for it and one time, okay? If I go to monthly, then there's gonna be people that wanted the annual rate at $750, for example. They're gonna get, it's only gonna cost them $250. If we make it to where you can only do it monthly, then it's gonna cost them, say, $1,000 for the same thing by paying for it monthly. So I think there's pros and cons to both. I agree with what
I'm
you're
not saying
saying,
they-
that we may have people, go buy a membership, bring in their receipt, and then turn around and go back and cancel the membership. And I think that's pretty,
That's a fair statement.
Honor.
ornery, I guess. That's probably a nicer word than I would've chose, but, but I don't think you can implement something that's gonna work well for everybody, I mean, or every scenario.
Right. But I think if I can't pay it annually, I don't get the same benefit as somebody that can pay it a membership annually. I don't get my money back.
Well, I think people that wanna choose to use it monthly, meaning they wanna bring you in a receipt every month, can do that as well, but once they get to $500, it's used up.
I mean, it would seem like that either the Y or it would seem like either the Y or the fitness center down by Belterra, either one would, if they know somebody's gonna come in and join for a month and their annual membership is this much, they'll give them a voucher and bring it to you. I would think they want the business, so they're gonna bring a voucher or say, well, you don't have to pay it out of your pocket. If you're signing up, we'll give you a voucher stating you're signing up. Then
Well, I would hope they're not doing that.
Yeah, no, it's not.
I mean, no,
I'm just trying to,
you're missing my point.
that's what.
Whatever.
No, I guess,
No,
I would hope that a facility wouldn't give someone a receipt for X number of dollars without them having paid that money. Right.
No, that wasn't how I meant it. I
Oh,
meant
I
they give them a
misunderstood.
voucher saying they are signing up and they're giving them a few days to come to get their stipend, and then they have to sign off.
I'd make a motion to implement a stipend program for the county employees where they can spend up to, or where they can get reimbursed up to $500 a year, for joining the fitness center of their choosing.
I'll second that motion.
I got a motion by Jamie, a second by Jerry. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Pete, can I ask you to get that, put in our handbook that way?
Effective immediately.
Yeah. That's everything that was on the agenda. Jerry, you want to discuss Lucas device? Or you want me to?
You can, you may get the gist, right?
Yeah. So, SCER needs a new Lucas device. I think we have, I don't know how many we have.
We have three.
Three?
One's starting to go out.
One of them is almost at end of life and can't be repaired.
So, Franklin County EMS is, I guess, going out of service, and the county itself is taking over. They had some number of Lucas devices, much newer than ours, not new, but newer than ours, and they are up for sale. I think Belterra actually bought one of them. Typically, the devices cost about $20,000 new. They're selling us used devices for $8,000. So, knowing that we need one, and there's only one left, we wanted to take a vote on whether or not we should purchase this Lucas device for Switzerland County. The thought is that we'll take it out of the ARPA funds. I think there was $1,096,000 left in ARPA. We slated $1 million of that for paving, so there still should be around $96,000 left in that ARPA fund.
98.
There was 98.
I think that's what's in my head. I wrote it down home. I called and asked to get for that number Thursday. Yeah, it was Thursday. I think it's not, 1,098,000, and we need 8 for this device.
8,000.
8,000.
And,
I think we should.
it also it's had very little use. I spoke to the lady that's in the head of the EMS this morning, her Tom, and I called her and spoke to her. It's had very little use. It's about 3 years old, I believe, that pump. And it also comes with a backup spare battery, which doesn't come with a new one. So that's another benefit and expense that we'll get with it. Yes, Belterra jumped all over it and bought one, and actually is picking theirs up tomorrow. So they're kind of holding it for us. So Tom brought it to my attention, and I got on the phone, and so we need to move on.
Entertain a motion.
Go ahead, Jerry.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of Lucas device from Franklin County EMS in the amount of $8,000 from the ARPA funds.
I'll second that motion.
Got a motion from Jerry, a second from Randy to approve the purchase of a Lucas device from Franklin County EMS in the amount of $8,000, funds to be paid for out of the ARPA funds. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
If anybody is in question of what a Lucas device is the device when somebody goes into cardiac arrest and you have to start chest compressions. In the old days, that was very hard. If you went from here to Dearborn County Hospital, one person trying to pump somebody's chest, you're wore out in about 10 minutes, and you had to keep switching off an ambulance. This device slides underneath them and does it for you. Very critical. So,
That's
All right.
everything that was on our agenda.
another thing I wanted to ask about is how soon do we want to put out the snow boots? It's,
Well, we should already have done it.
it's getting that time, unfortunately.
I didn't hear that.
Advertise.
Advertise for snow
bids.
boots.
For what bids?
Snow removal.
Snow removal.
Snow bids. Yeah, snow removal, it's about that time to get it advertised,
Mhm.
which past year or two, we've had a hard time even finding somebody to do it.
Pete, you wanna go ahead and take care of that for us?
That's all I had, and I do not have any board reports.
Randy?
I'm good, no board reports.
I don't have any board reports, but I do have one other thing. I've received a number of calls and, actually some one-on-one questions as it relates to the lawsuit that was filed against the commissioners and the council for a violation of open door law. I have asked, the county attorney, I actually asked him to attend the night and give a summary to the public, of what the charges were, what the settlement agreement was, et cetera. Unfortunately, with it being fall break, I guess, for school, he's out of town, so I've asked him to try and attend our next meeting and do exactly that. But with that said, I would tell you that the majority of the questions I've gotten are related to two things. One was, what illegal meetings was the county commissioners and county council having? The simple answer to that is there was no illegal meetings. Yes, there was a lawsuit for a violation of open door law. The fact is that we self-reported, we self-reported to the PAC, which is the Public Access Counselor, that our Personnel Advisory Committee had the meetings. The PAC then issued an informal opinion that, yeah, although there was an infraction by our Personnel Advisory Committee because they didn't post the meetings and have them public, ultimately they didn't view it as a violation of open door law because the process that the commissioners ultimately used to adopt the ordinance or adopt the personnel policy handbook was consistent with open door law. They didn't later come back and issue a formal opinion because once it went to litigation, they're no longer have oversight of that or make the decision, since it now goes by default to the judge handling the case. So the simple answer is there was no violation of open door law based on the opinion that we received. Yeah, there was an infraction and there was no illegal meetings taking place. The other question that seems to be coming up a lot is it correct that every office can now have its own policy manual, or every elected official have their own policy manual? And the answer is that has pretty much always been Indiana law. Nothing has changed. Obviously, there's reasons why counties don't have separate policy manuals for every office within the county. One big one is insurance, liability insurance. When every single office goes out having their own liability insurance, that's gonna create a huge, increase in cost for the county. I'm not saying that we can't do it because Indiana law says you can, but I don't think it's personally, I don't think it's a wise decision. Some of the other obstacles, Gail, if for example, if every office has, well, I was gonna say has their own benefits program, but they can't. That's not allowable by any Indiana law. Then it'd create a administrative nightmare for you, but I don't think that's the case because they can't do it. But I guess the simple answer to it, in the settlement agreement that we came up, or that we agreed to, the only thing we really agreed to was that we'll continue to follow the Indiana codes. And then the other third question that I continually, or have gotten several times, is, are we paying for, the attorney fees of Will Gehring, who represented the plaintiffs? And the answer is, the judge had made a decision that Will's attorney fees would not be a part of the litigation. So whether, or the settlement agreement. So if it went to litigation, or if it went to a bench hearing, if you will, those attorney fees would not be discussed at that bench hearing. If we put together a settlement proposal, it couldn't include the attorney fees. The judge has made a decision that he will meet with Will, the plaintiff's attorney, however you want to look at it, the county's attorney, and in a separate meeting, and that determination will be made at that time. So the answer is, it certainly is not my intent, nor do I feel like we should be responsible for paying the plaintiff's attorney fees, but I don't get my way. The judge is going to make that decision on his own. With that said, I'll open it up to the public. Any questions, comments? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Did you have?
Oh, sorry.
I'll second.
Got a motion from Randy, a second from Jerry. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
We got goodies to sign.
I didn't know if you had anything, that's
Oh,
why I
me?
asked.
Oh, I get to talk about the wife for about a half an hour, about she was right here, so.
Holler off.